Hello and welcome to Perspectives. A quick reminder once again, I will be live on Twitter and a phone number which will be on the screen. You can call in. Any comments you make on Twitter, I will try to include. My request: when you make comments, please make them legible. Do not use shortcuts and abbreviations because multitasking becomes difficult. We did a show yesterday which had politicians, and it became slightly argumentative. And I got a lot of comments there saying, "Why are you doing politics on this show? You've done current affairs, you've left it. Why do you want to go back?" The answer to that is because it is election year. We are going towards elections, and the politicians need to be heard. You need to make intelligent votes. If you do not listen to the politicians, how will you make an intelligent vote? You have to listen to them. If they start arguing, if there are disputes, if there are fights, well, so be it. That's what they are. That's what politics is about. That's what they do, and you have to listen to it. You have to watch it, and then you have to understand what's going on, and you have to make intelligent choices. If you just shut your eyes and if you refuse to see it, then you will not make intelligent choices. We have accused the masses of making choices which the elite, educated, uber elite do not agree with. Well, that's fine. You may not agree with it, but that is a choice they've made. And if you want to make a change in their choice, in their opinion, this is a democracy. We are a democracy. Majority rules, whether you like it or not. If you're a minority, you made a mistake. You should have done something about it. And if the majority vote is not suiting you, well, then what you need to do is come out and vote. And you need to come out and vote in large numbers. The educated elite, the bourgeois, the middle class, the educated middle class, the upper middle class, they have shied away from voting for the longest time in Pakistan. And even as recently as this morning, I was having arguments. People say, what's the point in voting? The urbanites don't vote because they're not interested. They haven't yet found anyone they want to vote for, so they do not vote. That is ridiculous. That is probably one of the most ridiculous arguments I've ever heard. Not voting, you voted. If you haven't voted, you have actually voted. Because there were 10 people, 5 people voted, 5 did not vote, so basically they voted for the losing party, finally. If they had voted for the losing party could have won. You may not agree with any of the participants in an election, then stand up and be counted yourself. And if you don't want to do it, elect someone you can control, elect someone you can steer. Because the democracy does not end on the vote, it begins on the vote. Once the government comes into place, that's when you have to start becoming democratic. That's when you have to start becoming democracy. That's when you have to understand that the elected leader, the elected government is really there to serve you. They're answerable to you. If you haven't asked the questions, that's your fault. Sitting home and complaining, nah, that's no good. You have to vote, you have to get the right people or even the wrong people in, but then you have to stay involved. You cannot disconnect. Women have great capability of staying connected, multitasking, getting involved, taking ownership. Men globally shy away from large responsibilities. They may be the breadwinners, they may go out, they may be able to change tires, but they're not good multitaskers. They're not focused, and they shy away when push comes to shove. Women, on the other hand, are just built for that task. They're built for taking on responsibilities, and women shine the most when under stress, when they're pressed, when they're pushed, when they're not given what they deserve or what they want. I'm going to leave the deserve and the want open because that will make the show interesting. Tonight is Tuesday, and as already said, I've already mentioned to you, Tuesday is when we give voice to the women of Pakistan and their issues. So today's topic is women in Pakistan, how they're coming out of their homes, of the areas, and making a difference. My guest, my extreme right, is a young lady who I have found through Twitter, and the reason I mention that is, please interact with me, send your comments, feedback. I will invite you, and you're welcome to tell me yourself that you want to come to the show. This show is really for you, it's not for me. Ms. Sara Khan Azimi, who has been the Deputy Speaker of Youth Parliament and is doing her Masters in Mass Communication from Prague University. Sara, thank you very much for being here, taking time out. Ms. Narjis, and Narjis Heather is manager training of Beacon House School System Southern Region. Narjis, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Fashion, life of any society, and in Pakistan, women are very fashionable, and we're very fashion conscious people. We'd like to talk about that as well. She's the senior editor for a magazine called Fashion Collection. That's Faria Bhanji. Faria, thank you very much for taking time out being here. And my great pleasure introducing my last guest. She is the founder of Youth Republic in Pakistan. Also, she's a student of physiology at the University of Karachi, and I take great pleasure in telling you that she's from Chitral. Ms. Hina Hazrat. Hina, thank you very much for coming here. The reason I mentioned Chitral is one of those most beautiful places in the northern part of Pakistan, and that is the part which is associated with trouble. These are the troubled spots of Pakistan, and it's really a great honor and pleasure that Hina is here with us. And I had no idea that Hina was from there. When she walked in and looked at her, apologetically asked where you're from. She said Chitral, and we were all very happy about it. Not because Chitral has monsters or they have horns on the head, but because maybe they've not been given the attention that they should have, and this war on terror has taken a toll on the northern parts of Pakistan. And whenever a young individual, man or woman, makes the effort to rise and shine, it just feels fantastic. So Hina, kudos for being here. Thank you very much for being here. Sarah, I'm going to start with you. We were talking earlier, and you said economic strength is important for women.
Yes.
Why? Historically, all over the world, women have been all right with the man earning and them taking care of home and being economically dependent. So why do you say that in Pakistan especially, and generally maybe, why is it so important for a woman to be economically strong?
You know, it's like money speaks. So if a woman is economically strong, she'll not be dependent on a man. And if she's not dependent on a man, he'll not be able to impose what he thinks she should do. She'll be able to take independent decisions, and that's how she can move forward.
Is it only because of money that the other opinions are imposed on women, or is it because it's the way we are built?
That's how we are built, actually.
But how will economic independence free her from that shackle?
You know, once you go out from the home,
yeah,
you have different options open, and that's how you pursue things like that.
So, but then one would say that women become out of control when they're financially independent.
That will a man say, but not a woman. That you'll not hear from a woman.
Okay.
Most of the time.
All right.
As long as you're not a mother-in-law.
Sorry. How did you take that funny exemption? The mother-in-law is a woman, and we'll come to that. I want you to hold that up because I believe a woman is a woman's enemy, not a man. Men are sweet.
I'll agree to that.
Men are sweet. Sorry, Narjis. We were having this discussion earlier. You talked about time management, and you said that women have to learn to manage time because they're doing a lot of shopping within the past. Men have to do that too. Why do you think that's a particular need for women?
The main difference between men and women who work is that for men it's a choice to come home and do things which are household chores. For them it's a choice. For women it's mandatory. Like if a woman comes home, she cannot sit on a couch and relax and not think about her children, what will they eat at night, is my house clean or not, whereas a man can get away with all of that. So women with equally important careers as men also have to face this daily routine of running the house. Even when they're at work, they're on their phones trying to see what is there for food for children when they come home. Has the pet been taken care of? Is there food for the maid at home? So, these are all the things that the woman still has on her mind even when she's at work. She's still trying to run the house wherever she is, which is something that men don't necessarily have to do.
Why?
That's not something that I can answer. There may be exceptions and men who would, but...
No, I agree with you. You are right. All I'm asking is, why is the society built that way? Because in the industrialized world, the man doesn't have a choice as well. It is mandatory for him to as well do housework. And people are sharing, if they're sharing the economic load, they're also sharing domestic load.
Yes.
Why has that not been able to, inculcate in Pakistan?
Because even now, there is a very, a very low percentage of women who have achieved very high or equal careers as men. And it's still not recognized as, women are still not recognized as equal contributors to the income that comes home. And what I've generally seen with women around me is that when they do raise their voice about this issue, the men very easily and conveniently say to them that who asked you to go to work? You can sit at home and make less clothes because life would be easier. So this is something that our society does not really look at women who work very positively, even now. And I'm talking about a very big city like a cosmopolitan city like Karachi. Even here, majority of the women who are out there still have to come home and look after them.
You said that, women haven't achieved as much as men have. I'm going to be honest, and I've said this before on the show. We've tried to call guests from, common walks of life. And I think we've called many more women achievers on the show than men. Not because there's bias or whatever, but because it's very difficult to find smart, intelligent, achieved men who would be able to come out here and present the case, and the women are doing a better job. So I don't agree with you there. Women are achieving at least, if not more than men. But then what's lacking? We'll have a look at that in a second. Faria, how can, very well said that coming home, it's not a choice for her to take care of those things. But you say that how women can come out and work, but I'm going to throw one more thing at you. My friend here said that men would say make less clothes. So the fashion statement of women, is that just a cost they want to?
No, I think if a woman is working or if she's not working, it's no issues. No issues come to the clothes as such. You should not limit that thing to the clothes as such. And I like the way.
I'm trying to have fun here.
No, Faisal, no, I'm sure that women out there have all the rights to make clothes. They have all the rights to buy whatever they have to go for. But they can actually, go according to the budget. I mean,
Sure.
if she's earning, and when you said in your introduction that women can actually multitask, I just love the thing which you mentioned earlier. The positive thing which you put towards women is that she can
I know
actually be the
what's
best.
good for me in this studio. There are 4 women. I know exactly where the
I
is.
just love this word because actually women are a better multitaskers than I'm not going to say I'm rather than men, but yeah, they can actually work hard and definitely work hard at their offices, at their homes, but multitasking, as you said,
Yeah.
I will go for that.
Okay. But you talked about women having issues coming out and working, and my friend here also just said that that women are not seen in a good light if they're working.
No, I don't agree with that, Faisal. Because, if you are making a choice, stand by it. And you have a supportive family, you have supportive parents, you have supportive husbands, you can definitely go for it. And you can actually multitask, which you said earlier, the term. You can actually, divide your time, so look after your home, look after your parents, look after your husband, kids and all. And then you can work as well. And do justice with whatever you do.
But is the society conducive to women coming out and work, or the society is restricted?
Society just they do put what you call restrictions. They would do that, but then I think women should understand that you have to be part of the society at the end of the day.
Well, what women need to understand is they've made the society they so complain about.
I think so. Yeah, you are right on that too.
And I just want to add to what she's saying, because I'm just going to clarify my point here. It is not the men who talk about this. It is the women, because I'm purely talking about the fact that
you're right, Anjali.
I'm in a social circle where I go and sit with wives of my husband's colleagues who are nicely sitting at home and enjoying their lives. And they all the time talk about how good they are running their homes, raising their children. and they make me feel like a criminal in that crowd because,
Yeah.
I'm doing an equally good job of running my home and managing my children. But it is not the men who are critiquing the women. This is where I'm going to talk about our society.
Okay,
It is the women who are critiquing the women. Yes.
It's the Stepford wives who don't like
Yes.
it. I'll come in a second. Hina, tell us your journey from Chitral to Karachi. What all have you done? And tell us about the Youth Republic.
It's like I'm born here in Karachi, but I actually belong to Chitral. That's the land of mine. And Chitral is a beautiful district located in northern areas of Pakistan. So it's like I always respect the land, and it's of course in my blood. And the Youth Republic, basically I had an idea that 50% of the world's total population comprises of youth. And if we are going to create a platform for the 50% of the world to stay united and do something for the rest of the 50%, so in this way we are going to impact 100% of the world. So with this idea, we just came up with the title, the Youth Republic, which is the name given to the project. It actually works on uniting youth and then making their positive energies go for the betterment of societies. Like we do different activities, projects where different youngsters are involved, and their positive energies actually are going to be diverted towards the positiveness and betterment for the society. So this is how the Youth Republic works.
I really love when you said 50% youth will stay united and they will fix the other 50%.
This is the idea.
That was quite phenomenal. Tell us about your activities. What all you're doing. How many members you have?
It's like the core group is comprised of 8 members, and we have over 400 plus registered members on the website. And the projects are football exhibition match, which we recently organized last month. It was between 2 religions, different religions, and we tried to put up or come up with an idea that from sports we can create peace. So this is how, with different aims, with different mission and vision, we try to come up with unique activities which actually youth is going to love. And apart from it, the other project was educational drive. It was about getting energies or getting the spark and the potentials of youth who are privileged enough to actually study in a good institute, and capturing their attention and making them go and give their some time to government school. So this is how we are trying to create different projects.
So going back to education institutions.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Do you agree with the fact that the women in the society are actually victims of other women in the society?
Yes, I do, because I think that it completely depends on the society where you live. Sometimes in a society which is completely positive and which actually believes in collective progression, they are not going to argue on anything which you do. But sometimes when even in the family, if people are conservative, and so of course there are times when you are actually the pin, the pin is towards you, that why you do and all.
So society doesn't accept working women.
Second, it's the woman who brings up a child. She instills the basics in the man and in a girl and in a boy. Society does not accept it because it's more likely a patriarchal society, and it has been endorsed by women as well. But now things are changing. It is very much changing.
I've talked about this, but we're not a patriarchal society. Mummy rules. Mum rules.
The key decisions are taken by men. Mum rules when you want her to rule. Correct?
I'll vouch for what she says over here, that a woman can decide what school she wants to send her child to, but the husband will make the final decision, because he's going to decide whether he agrees to pay that fee structure, whether he agrees to the philosophy of that school. So ultimate decision lies...
That's just financial capability.
No, I'm not talking only in terms of financial capability. For example, a mother selected a certain school which she believes is good for the child, but the father thinks, no, this is what the child will come out being in the end. His view of that school would be different. And in the end, the decision would be what the husband wants.
That's where economic empowerment comes.
This has nothing to do with economics.
This
has
economic
to do with control.
So if daddy doesn't agree, mom will put the kids in work.
Yes, I'll give money. You have to put him there.
No, I think, and in fact, Sarah has a point. She definitely says that, a mom is the one who decides where a child should go and all. Our culture is like that. Basically, we give respect to our moms and we give respect to their decisions and all. But yes, mom should decide. But at the end of the day, it depends upon the child too. You know, they should see that if the child is able to attend that thing or not.
But generally, if we have had numerous conversations about this, and this goes on and on and on and on forever, because there's two reasons why I keep taking on this subject. One, the global perception. I need to address that because I feel that people just think of us completely wrong. I mean, look at these lovely young ladies here. This is not the perception of our women in the world, which is sad. And the second is because I want women to re-question where they're standing. And when you say it's a patriarchal society, I'm willing to take this debate on as long as you like. I do not agree. Because daddies get manipulated by mommies. They can, mothers sound, I think that's, and I'm leaving it open to all of you.
I will disagree with that because I'm surrounded in a workplace full of women. Our workforce comes from 80% of the workforce is women. I mean, the place where I come from.
Right.
We have women in every walk of that organization, from HR to accounts to teaching.
Oh, you mean the school? Okay,
yes.
right.
So, I mean, my interaction with women, I've been with the organization for 17 years. I've seen women who work in places like Rahim Yar Khan, Quetta.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Pakistan. We're not just talking about one segment of Pakistan. So what is the overall perception? Within the country also and within the city, the perception changes from place to place about how they look at working women. With how many hardships women come to work in smaller cities of Pakistan to the same job which is much simpler for somebody in a larger city. So what I am talking about, yes, we are moving in the direction of more openness towards working women, but we still have to get there. Even now, women only come to work, majority of them, because they need the finances. Most of them don't come because they want to work. 80% of our women workforce is coming out of financial needs even now.
But they are stepping out of their houses now.
So that is what I'm saying.
And they are making a choice, in an actual way. Like, if they want to be a lawyer or a designer or entrepreneur, whatever, but they are making a choice at the end of the day, and that is what matters in our society a lot these days. Because initially when we see, I mean, women were just confined to their homes. They were only, just looking after babies and looking after their houses.
Okay,
and I respect that. I respect that role too.
No, absolutely.
Because I do the same at my place.
Homemaking is a very important role. But, I have never known women to do just that. I mean, I can go back to my khala, my auntie, back in God knows which generation, century. They weren't working.
It was in your case probably, but if you still see, there are certain communities which they give education to their daughters, but at the end of the day, they just want them to get married and stay at home, like Narjasa and we were talking before.
Yeah, but that's fine. So that is not.
We don't want that anymore.
That is not the society's fault.
Whose fault is it?
It is. It is embedded in it.
It's the individual families and individual parents and individual children. It is not the society's fault. The society, I don't think, has ever, and there's a reason I'm saying this. I want the world to understand this. The Pakistani society has never enforced a ban on women working. We have never seen.
No,
we've never seen women poorly who work.
That I agree with you.
A working woman is seen with just as much importance and respect.
Majority,
but individual families have done that.
But majority of working women come from our rural areas, where all the women work in the fields. They work in the I don't know. I think they run shops and small businesses, and all of that. The percentage of working women, I feel, is much higher in the rural, which is not even recognized.
They are not counted working women because they are not actually working 9 to 5.
But they do contribute to Pakistan's economy, because in the cotton fields, in the rice fields, everywhere you see women.
Even if they don't participate in the national economy, which everyone does in one way or the other. But they're serving a very important role by running their homes, by driving their own personal economy. So what I'm trying to say is that Pakistan is not a prohibitive society as a nation. It's not a country which would have laws against it. So they would have laws against women working. We've had women in the assemblies forever. Fatima Fatma Jinnah was contesting elections back when. So we do not have that issue. But what I would like to the direction I want to take now is that women have themselves imposed a ban on
Yes,
themselves.
yes,
You
I
said,
agree with that.
You mentioned coming out of home and
Yeah.
the hardships of working. You talked about women from all classes. You talked about economic independence. You're coming from an area where probably women work just as much, if not more, than men. But then the perception we're shooting out at the world is, oh, we are so oppressed. We need these women's laws, and we need reserved seats, and we'll be oppressed and depressed and suppressed segment of the society. It's a patriarchal society.
There are faults. Faisal, I will agree with you on this, that we actually portray that our society is so depressed, or, the women are just in distress all the time. That is not actually the case. There are girls, there are women stepping out of their houses, and actually countries too. They are going abroad and making good names. And they represent their country. I'm not saying that they just want to stay abroad and just get, foreign currency accounts in their, banks and all.
That's fine.
But,
that's a choice.
But they are actually serving, and they are serving our name, and they are, actually serving our country's, with the education they got here. They went abroad and they work for international companies and all. This is so nice. So that means that they have made actually a choice to step out there, out of their homes, out of the countries, and, be a career woman, as well as supporting their family traditions.
I need to take a short break. When you come back, I'd like to take this discussion towards what do women need to do to change their own mindset. In the past 30 minutes, I've established that men aren't the enemies, and also my friend here said men are not the real enemies. But then who is the real enemy? If women are being projected poorly, if women are having issues coming out in work, if women are being judged for being who they are, and they're being judged for the way they dress, the way if her head's covered or not, if her arm's showing, or if she's wearing Western dress or if she's wearing Eastern dress, women are judged, but they're not judged by men. That's my deep-rooted belief. They're judged by other women. So how will we change that perception and that attitude towards themselves? Let's go short. Staying with us, watching Perspectives. Once again, if you tweet during the show, I will include them. During the break, you were saying that women, you weren't agreeing that it's not a society psyche. What you were saying was that if the common psyche is against women, then that's a society psyche. But the example you gave was Mohtamma Benazir Bhutto when she became Prime Minister, and people used a lot of things against. But that was politics. They may have used her gender for political advantage, but that does not mean the society.
The gender was used in a religious manner. That religion does not allow women.
But that's politics.
So everywhere is politics.
But they could not remove her.
Yes.
So it was just
she
politics.
She stood there.
So it was just politics.
Yes.
If they could have actually invoked laws on a society's psyche, then she couldn't have. Try getting a woman to lead a Friday prayers. You will not succeed. Because then that would just not work. But this worked. So it's not the society's psyche. Some people used some politicking to get her out. That's fine. But that's not a gender thing. They would have found something else about somebody else. But that's not gender.
But what I'm saying is that psyche is prevalent in the society.
Okay. Mr. Shahid Faiz on Twitter says exactly. Look at Saas Bahu, Bhabi Nand, Jethani Devrani, Bivi Sautan. Where did Sautan come from? None of these relationships set any examples, and it's not men involved in this relationship. So how are we going to change that mindset?
It will take women to change the mindset of the society.
So you're your own enemy. We'll see.
That's exactly what I said, that it is women who critique the working women. Let's look at, I'll give you a very simple example of the marriage market, let's say. In the marriage market, who chooses a working woman to be their daughter-in-law? It's the woman who goes and wants this perfect housewife who has the looks and the mannerisms and all the household skills. Those are important for her, along with, it's a good benefit if she has a foreign degree. But that foreign degree should be used at home.
The Gori Katrina
yes,
who can raise kids and make money.
Yes. So this is the kind that they look for.
So bad.
But that's totally not realistic.
And that thought is not changing at
Yes.
all. I mean,
Even
still
now
seeing-
the
That's not
marriage.
changing at all.
it's not
Yes.
changing at all. You just see, it's still, there are people
And
out
women
there who
who
don't
are
prefer
coming to
working
work.
ladies to be their sons, wives and all, just because they know that at some point that woman is going to dominate. Again, that same,
Or not be
typical thing.
dominated.
Or not be dominated.
I
Because she's not going to take that, all the, that whatever is going to come from the other side, actually. She's not going to be prepared to take everything.
I think society is changing onto that. I am observing that guys look a woman who works now.
Looking
They want to
women at work.
offload themselves because of the inflation we are having these days.
No,
So
they just want to make sure she's gone for 8 hours.
What a relief. For a relief, they can do that. Yeah.
Less bickering and arguing. But see, no, I agree with our friend here. It's not changing. What Nargis said is right. The marriage market, as you've said, I wouldn't agree with the marriage market, but yeah, it is the market, and that is not changing. And I'd like you all to comment on that as well. We're still getting married for the wrong reason. We're not getting married for love. We're not getting married for you found somebody you want to live 60 years with. We're just getting married because it's a marriage market. And there is a criteria. I mean, when will that demeaning characteristic of our society change, where we say, she has to be fair, she has to be tall, she has to wear certain clothes, and she has to be able to cook, and she has to be able to bake, and she has to be maid as well. And
Along with a degree from a foreign university.
Yeah, that's the recent
Yes,
addition to
this is a new addition.
But these demands not coming from men.
But Faisal, I'm afraid that this point of view is not going to change in our society, because it's so strongly embedded in our society.
Even this generation?
Ages. The new generation, yes. I'm really hopeful, with the new generation that they are going to do that.
Do you feel a change?
Yeah, I think that it's something innate, and it's going to take a lot of time for the society to actually change their own perspective in regard of considering women as equal to men. And I actually believe, since I've worked in brown states and I have worked with different levels of women in different societies, so it's like whenever you are in a rural area, things are completely, changed, and whenever you are in a city life or a life which is completely different from the life which actually is in rural areas, so the perception for the women is completely different. So I think that it's basically a triangle where one is the man in the family, and the one corner is for the family itself, and the third is the women. When actually the tree of the triangle, the corners of the triangle are going to get connected equally, and they are just strong enough to actually bond their own relations and consider that yes, the woman in the family is right, and the woman in the family, she is as equal to men, right? So I think that it's not the society or anyone which can actually project anything towards women. If your family is going to accept you and is going to accept whatever the women in the family are doing at work,
so
or
if you say if you have acceptance in your own family, you would have larger acceptance.
Yeah.
But this list of criterion for men, a list of criteria for men, for women, it's not as stringent for men.
No,
men don't have that.
They can make their own
they
choices.
can.
I mean,
that is the difference.
They don't have any limitations.
And I agree. That's where it all starts. That's where we've set the wrong standard. You have to fit into a criteria, and that's basically sets the scope of your life.
I'll tell you something very interesting. My mother was not allowed to study when she got married. She did her matriculation and then she got married. And when I was doing my intermediate, she was doing her graduation. So,
Which is fantastic.
yes, and that is what I'm saying. My sister became a journalist and she had to go abroad for work, but we got opposition from the rest of the society that, your daughter will go there, live alone and all that. But my mother stood up and said she will go because I have confidence in how I have brought her. So that is the psyche I'm talking about.
Okay, I want to talk more about that. When was this? 3 years ago? 4 years ago?
7 years ago.
7 years ago. This is like 2000, right?
Yeah.
2006. And fine, in my time, which is donkeys years ago, even for men, how can you send them abroad? They will be spoiled and destroyed and wasted, and they'll be lying drunk in a sewer somewhere.
Going abroad was a crime.
Who says that in 2007 that the daughter, if she travels, she's going to become hard and fast? Fast and loose, sorry. Where is that coming from today? I mean, in 2007, hearing that, I'm shocked.
There are different segments. You cannot say that the society is becoming very liberal in its outlook. It is conservative when it comes to women, and in some cases men as well.
Okay.
And that sums up the point that I've been trying to make, that the change has to come from the women themselves, because currently there's only two kinds of women who survive in careers. Those who have a very sound family setup, who can look after their children and manage the home. I'll give you my own example. I've been working 9 to 5 for 17 years, and I was not married when I started my job. And I think I got married and stayed on this job because of the massive support I got from my own parents, my mother-in-law, and my husband, because this is a full-time job and it requires a lot of hard work. So raising a child with this kind of job where traveling is involved, where long work hours are involved, was only possible because of a support mechanism in place. There was a point even in my life when I thought, okay, I've had enough, I want to quit and stay.
And you know, that is such a positive thing, you know, because in our culture, I think out of many cultures around the world, and it's in our culture that we have such supportive, you know, family members.
Yeah.
We have supportive parents, we have supportive in-laws in many cases. And our child can actually be taken care of. Otherwise, when we see other cultures internationally, they do work full time, but they have to go to drop the kids at the daycares. And they are fine with it. But why can't our women just step out of their houses and work? Because, you know, they have such supportive family members at home taking care of the kids. They can come back and...
Okay, the nuclear family system has a support mechanism which helps.
Yeah,
a joint family system
basically family system, yeah, that helps. I don't know, there are certain, you know, mindsets, you know, they say that joint family system is a, you know, I don't know, a hell to be with and a hell to live in. But that is, I don't agree with that.
Even I agree with her, because for me,
it is amazing,
you know, having
to have a
joint family system has been a major pillar for me to continue.
Yes.
Yeah. Because
and there are negative points, there are positive points in every family, in every situation. But you have to go for a positive side, for a change. I mean, you know, just don't see a negative side of the family.
One of the aspects I'm going to talk about when she said about the Western daycares, this is another thing that is stopping women in Pakistan from getting into careers, because there is no infrastructure in place to support the career woman, because many of them give up because there's no one to look after their children. So maybe it's time that Pakistan itself as a state or organizations started to provide facilities to keep children, or creche or daycare system.
We have guests in our show who are now running daycare facilities. But you see, state can't do that. It is not the state's responsibility to create.
I think privately some people need to think on that.
It's a business.
It is a business too, yes. And,
it is
and
just
a good
business.
one. And a really good one.
But we still don't have, because they're not accessible to the women. They're not in every locality.
Yeah, that's right, that they don't, you know, get the confidence, or, you know, they don't get that homely environment.
The quality of the daycare is still under question, because you don't know what kind of...
supply demand. As the demand increases, the supply will improve. They don't have a choice but to improve.
But I feel that a lack of infrastructure is also causing women to step down.
I think they are so rare, and they are so expensive, because, you know, then the women decides that if she's paying half of the salary or more than half of the salary at the daycare, then what's the use of
One other thing is that women holding the same jobs are not necessarily paid exactly the way the men are paid. That's another issue.
That's another, you know, situation in our society, Faisal, which you must be knowing also, that they are discouraged, number one.
Women?
And then they are underpaid in many cases.
No, they're not discouraged. They're not underpaid. I think they're overpaid.
No, they're not overpaid.
Women keep complaining about being underpaid. I do not agree with that. Where's that coming from? I'm sorry.
No. In many cases, there are.
There are many women. I know of many women who have.
They're probably not good workers.
Yeah.
No, but what if they're single or widowed or?
If you do a good job, you get paid for it.
Like your qualities, your education is going to be like in front.
Your work will get you the money.
Of being actually a woman, it's not going to work out actually. Like if you are good qualified, you have talent, you have potential, I think you are going to be accepted like everywhere in the world as a great personality. And it's like a lot of things are happening.
Okay, Shahira Al-Basit says hello to you. And there's also saying the topic itself is stereotyping the idea. Okay, that's an interesting spanner. But I'm stuck because I have to pick these topics up because of the global perception. And I feel there's strong confusion within our own minds. When we say things, patriarchal society, men decide, we need economic independence, women have trouble coming out to work, we are re-inculcating these values. And we're not breaking out of them. I believe that, sure, there'd be security issues for a woman walking down the street, but there'd be security issues, not as many, for men as well. But yeah, women are more at risk. That's unfortunate part of living in a country where we have drawn on a situation. But I don't believe that women are in any way held back in their careers, in their salaries. And I'm sorry, I'm a very ruthless and harsh person when I say if you don't have childcare and if you don't have daycare centers and if you want to work, well, maybe you shouldn't have children so soon. People hate it when I say that.
But when should you have children then? Because if
well,
you have...
But
then why just to start a family so late if we just want to...
Well, that's a choice you have to make. It's a personal choice. People saying that, oh, because I've got so many children, well, that's your choice. We have
choice, yeah.
An associated issue with women here is, just about 5 years ago, a woman was badly beaten up because she couldn't bear a son. This whole son thing and this whole marrying for reproduction and the obsession with marriage and reproduction, that is another problem women have to deal with. Because if that's the whole purpose in life, then work is really just something you do on the side, either because you got divorced or you need the money. Women don't work really because they want to, I need a career. Very few women I meet, even the top most positions, are there because they're like career. And if a woman's career oriented, other women will see her as a threat.
Not only other women, some men also consider them a threat.
Women, well, in Korea maybe, yeah.
In
but
Korea,
women see a domestic threat.
They see domestic threat too, probably, yes. You're right in that sense. But then again, that is one of the thinking which is prevailing these days, that men get intimidated by women who work on bigger positions. Probably, I don't know for what reason they do that, but then they are actually performing on such levels, and they are just, on such levels because of their capabilities. Then why intimidated by that idea?
I'm going to include some tweets. Aisha Khan says, that's a long thing, with like 4 tweets. He says, society is conservative towards women, but if once a woman stands for her right, she achieves it. So they should break the chains now and start it from the homes by instilling good traits in her kids. Thank you. You cannot change your past, but your future is in your hands. Raise your kids well and change the course. Very well said, Aisha. Munim Masood says, who made work the primary goal in a woman's life? I'm not sure what that question means. You might have to repeat that in another word. And Mr. Raza Bashir says, can't have it all, kids and work. Even men compromise on account of family and kids. I'm sorry, Raza, I do not agree. Men do not compromise when it comes to family and kids. They leave it for the women to deal with it. If a couple has had a child, it suddenly becomes a woman's responsibility to give up a career, and take care of it. The man continues because he's the big lion breadwinner. They will not share their careers. They will not share their lives. And
they won't compromise their timings and whatever.
Exactly.
So all kinds of nitty-gritty of the day has to be handled by the woman no matter what she's doing. If she's sitting in a meeting, she still has to deal with what's
not patriarchal. That's not patriarchal.
He thinks that it's not his job.
Yeah, but that's mommy who taught him that. I made a ladla. The daughter has
and the man is
the
so
sister
innocent.
has to take it.
And the man is so innocent.
No, but that's
those
values have been instilled since he was born. He was the prince, and the sisters
that
is
the wrong values.
There is that brain inside.
There
is that brain inside which tells you what is right and what is wrong.
Now I fully agree with you that once you grow up, you should better yourself. I fully agree. But in matters like this, which are your core values, no, I do not agree. Core values become your values forever. I don't think anyone changes the core values as they grow up.
The basics.
Your basic, the core value, and this is what we're discussing is a core value.
Yeah.
I don't know what we were talking about the other day. I was talking to somebody who said that the son misbehaved with the mother. And they said, well, it's because of his wife. She instigates him. I say, no man, no woman can make a man misbehave with his mother unless if
I
he's
don't
just
agree with that.
Yes.
unless if he's just a misbehaving kind of human being.
Yes.
I mean, even if you put a gun to someone's head, he will not misbehave with his mother if he's been taught well. And if he's just a bad guy or taught poorly, both, I'm sorry. I don't even remember who this conversation was. So if you're watching, I apologize. Maybe you haven't raised your child too well, or maybe he's just a bad man.
That I agree on with you, Faisal. Absolutely.
So the core values stick.
Yeah.
So
And the brought up is the main part.
Exactly, that's
And
right.
if a boy child sees equal distribution of work between the man and the woman, like in my case,
the brothers and sisters.
yes, like in my case where I grew up in a family where we have 2 brothers and 4 sisters, and there was no discrimination in the kind of work we did. We all washed clothes, we all cooked food, we
Fantastic.
all cleaned. So I think my brothers settled very well in the foreign
And I'm sure
society.
your sister-in-laws are really happy.
Yeah, they are not married yet, but I'm sure they will be because they can cook everything.
How many
from
brothers do you have?
2.
Eligible for marriage?
Not yet.
We have 2 fantastic young men. Very
Wait,
domesticated,
married?
well trained.
Yes. Yes, one is.
Tall, dark, handsome, fair. You don't even need fair and lovely for that.
So basically, if the boy child sees an equal environment in his own home, that's how he will be as a...
So the core values will be established.
Yes.
And that's
At
what's
a very
important.
young age.
Values
At a
and,
very young age.
a positive value since the beginning you start your brought up of the
Yes.
kid.
Exactly.
Just don't
And as Aisha said, you can't change your past, but you can change your future, and you have to raise your kids well, and that'll
And
change your
also, when somebody asked me once about, do you feel empowered? So I said that it's a very difficult question for me to answer because I grew up in a home where I had complete right to do anything. My father never stopped us from taking our own decisions. When I got married to a man who again did not stop me from taking my own decisions. So I said, this is not the kind of thing that I have ever experienced. So I'm not the right kind of person who can answer if I feel empowered. But I think from the beginning I was empowered to take my own decisions. I was around men who allowed that to happen and around women who allowed
Okay, and my closing notes, I'll say something to that. Would you like to say something before you leave?
I would like to add a point that the triangle concept
Sure.
which I just incorporated here in the discussion, it completely implies in what you are saying. Like if the family is right, if the society, like if the society, it's out, and there's an environment which is inside the family. It's
Sure.
also the internal society which you
Absolutely.
actually build.
Absolutely.
So if everything is like in a positive direction towards you, I think you are allowed to work and do whatever you feel like, and you are allowed to do anything like related to your interests. And
Closing notes.
I would say that if you want to do something, you'll always find a way.
It's always fun. If you want to do something, okay, fine.
Okay.
Closing notes.
I just want to say I think we're moving in a positive direction because the percentage of working women is definitely increasing in Pakistan, and I can see a change that women are standing up for their rights now. Previously, they were majorly coming to work because of financial needs, but now a large number of women are coming to work because they want to come to work and they're making conscious choice themselves. So I think we are moving towards empowerment.
To be working women.
Yes.
Closing notes.
I think a woman should definitely make a choice. They should come out, make a choice, and stand by it. Just don't listen to the other stories that what is going on around in the society and all. If you can multitask, if you can actually take care of your home and work, then be fair with it.
Mr. Omar Farooq Jamil, last week in the case says, women need to take the initiative themselves. Nobody can do that. Nobody can do that for them. As men, we need to support them. Omar, I'm going to build my last notes on that before I leave. All my life, all the women I've ever known, they are in charge. Be it my mother, my sister, my wife, my friend's wife, my brother's wife, my cousin's wives, my cousins who are women with their husbands, my aunties and my uncles. I do not think I know even a single woman in my life who was suppressed or even in control of their men. The men are completely in their control. I can vouch that for all my friends, all my cousins, relatives, people I've known, grown up with. Women have been in charge. The Asian woman is in charge. she's like, you know, I'm not going to use that word because people get offended, but she's like the god of things. She's got absolute control over the men, and I think men need to start standing up and fighting for their rights. Your tweets, your comments, your feedback, your emails are always welcome. Please write into us and keep watching the show. Until next time, good night.